AI, everybody's talking about AI. If you could put this in simple terms, your best guess, how AI is going to accelerate this leap in life expectancy for humans. How's it going to help?
So there's a number of different ways. And so let me take them from the immediate near term happening now to the theoretical longer term. So right now, the best AI in the world is your diagnostician. You're familiar. I had co-founded with Tony Robbins, Bob Hurry, Bill Capps, something called Fountain Life.
Fountain Life, yeah. It's all the talk down in Miami.
Yeah, we have 4 centers right now: New York, Dallas, Orlando is our headquarters, and Naples. We're opening up here in Los Angeles, and then we're opening up Houston at the end of this year, and then Miami at the end of this year, first quarter. So we'll have 7 centers, and there's a lineup of like 25 centers. And when you go to the center, we digitize you. We collect about 200 gigabytes of data. So it's a full body MRI, brain imaging, brain vasculature, a coronary CT using an AI overlay looking for soft plaque. Really important to talk about soft versus calcified plaque. Low-dose lung CT.
Wait, what's worse?
Soft plaque is the killer.
Yeah.
Calcified plaque, if it's not blocking your coronary artery and it's on the side of your coronary artery, the coronary arteries feed the heart glucose and oxygen, allow it to operate. Calcified plaque is safe. It's not going anyplace. It's what we've discovered in the last 5 years. It's the soft plaque that doesn't show up on a calcium scan that in the middle of the night can evulse, can break off and block an artery, and then you're dead.
It ruptures and it dilates your arteries and then causes sort of an internal scab over time that causes the block.
But the issue about the rupture can be where the fatty material blocks the artery and causes the heart attack. So we do this coronary, what's called a Clearly scan. We do a DEXA scan, your full genome, retinal scan, skin, metabolomics, blood biochemistry, your microbiome. It's everything knowable about you. And that gets fed into our AI system. And the AI system is basically taking all this multimodal information, all the imaging, all of the metrics. And with that rich data about you, AI today is able to tell you exactly what's going on. So when you go through Fountain, not only do you do this upload once a year, but you get a medical team, a functional medicine doctor, nurse, dietitian, health coach that work with you based upon the results to optimize yourself through the year. I call that work not dying from something stupid, right? So it's like people don't realize the body is incredibly good at hiding disease. And so you don't feel a heart attack or any symptoms until the very end. You don't feel a cancer until stage 3 or stage 4, right? 70% of the cancers that kill us are not the ones that are screened for. You don't die from breast or colon or prostate. You die from glioblastoma, pancreatic cancer, ovarian cancer, the cancers that are not routinely screened for. Just I'm a pilot, I would not fly my plane unless it had its 100-hour and its annuals and so forth, or drive a car unless it's in good operating condition. Most people have no idea what's going on inside their bodies unless they look.
I remember at Lake Nona, you gave this presentation, very well attended, that you showed a patient where you actually caught a cancer.
Yeah, we've caught, 3% of the members going through Fountain, 3% of our first, 6,000 that came through, have a cancer they don't know about.
That's going to kill them or a benign, or you don't,
cancer that you have to take action on,
okay.
Right? We typically can catch a cancer in stage 1 or stage 2 before it gets, 2.5% have an aneurysm they don't know about. 14.4% have either cardiovascular, metabolic, neurodegenerative disease. And so again, we all are optimists about our health, but you actually, unless you look, you don't know. So one of the things on this health journey is AI enables us to understand and answer 2 questions. Is there anything going on inside my body I need to know about right now? And I go every year, you need to come. I have blue zone information up on my walls.
Oh, good. I'll be there then.
And come through and understand what's going on. I would not miss a year, period, right? The second thing that we do through these uploads is what is likely to happen to you. It's predictable what is likely to cause you difficulties in the years ahead? And then how do you optimize yourself? How do you prevent that cardiovascular or metabolic disease or, or cancer, depending on a whole number of factors? So like I have my Fountain Life app on my phone. All my data is right here. The other day, I did something that was fun because all of my wearables come onto this too. I don't have my CGM on, but normally on my Apple Watch, my Oura Ring and such. And I went to our AI, which has all my data for like 8 years now. And I said, the name of the AI is, we call it Zori. And I said, Zori, can you look at my sleep data and all of the meds and supplements I take and tell me, has there been anything that increases my deep sleep over the last year? And it said, yes, in this specific time, you had a 30% increase in deep sleep.
What was that?
I started taking trazodone, 50 milligrams of trazodone. Trazodone has very low downside to it. And it moved my deep sleep from like 30 to 40 minutes to an hour and 20.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And I was like, that was awesome. Just being able to ask those kinds of questions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like is for my blood glucose control, is berberine better or metformin? And it says berberine for all these reasons and not metformin for all these reasons based upon my physiology. So AI, there was a study done out of Stanford and Harvard that looked at 3 situations. Here's a bunch of cases. We're going to give these list of cases to a doctor and say, diagnose them. The doctor in this circumstance, I think, got 76% of them right. The doctor using an AI system was able to increase the accuracy of their diagnostics by 2%. I think
That's
it went from 74% to 76%. The AI by itself, without the doctor, got it at 92%.
What kind of input do you have to put in in order to? Well, what's a good example where
it's the study gives the rough numbers, doesn't give the exact. But here's the case history. Here's all the information. What does this person
you have to be able to feed that in.
And the realization is that AI is unbiased, where human doctors introduce I think it's this because I happen to see 3 cases last week of the same similar situation. So the first use of AI, going back to your question, is going to be in being able to diagnose patients. And of course, the cost of this is effectively zero. So people are going to, hopefully, because of AI, get diagnosed earlier when they can be better treated.
David Agus was here, and he told us about an incident where AI going through data on shingles vaccination found that there was a correlation between shingles vaccination and Alzheimer's. In other words, if you got your 2 shingles shots, your chances of Alzheimer's went down by about 50%.
Amazing.
And that's just because AI could metabolize this ocean of data and see the connections where humans would never do that.
We did some work through all the data we collected at Fountain and found an interesting study, an interesting correlation I'll mention here because it saves lives. Said, what is the number one factor that correlates highest with heart disease? Is it triglycerides, LDL, HDL, LP(a), all these cardiovascular factors? And we found it was none of those. It was one thing that correlated maximally with heart disease, and it was your blood sugar.
Glucose.
It was your hemoglobin A1C.
Wow.
And so that was fascinating, right? You want to reduce your chance of heart disease, stop eating sugar.
Amazing.
Right?
And the worst source of that is typically sugar-sweetened beverages.
Yeah, I talk about that in my book. I have a chapter on diet, very similar to the work that you've seen and done, right? So minimizing sugar, maximizing whole plants, eating enough protein to maintain muscle and grow muscle. The other area that AI is going to be critically valuable in is helping to understand the massively complex biochemistry of your body. We mentioned like 40 trillion cells, 2 to 5 billion chemical reactions per second per cell. Demis Hassabis at DeepMind, won the Nobel Prize for being able to predict the folding of a protein. A very complicated problem. And where he's going and his team is going next is, can we take your DNA and based on your DNA, create an accurate model of one of Dan's cells and model it in such accuracy that we understand which medicines or supplements or drugs impact your cell. And then can we go from modeling your cell to modeling tissue and organs and all of you, right? Can we do in silico, trials in this fashion? David Sinclair, I mentioned in the podcast with him, he talks about one of the experiments he did was they built an AI model that would look at a cell under a microscope and based upon the visual of that cell, tell how old the cell was, right? So not a human able to do it, but an AI was able to say, this is a skin cell from a 20-year-old or 90-year-old or 50-year-old, whatever. And then once he had that tool, he was able then to go through millions of AI-generated molecules to see, did that molecule make that cell younger or older?
Wow.
And then you can run through all of these tests so rapidly that you could say, okay, these are the molecules, this is the bucket of molecules that are reversing aging.
So if you like that clip, there's a lot more where that came from. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you won't miss our new videos as they come out each week.